When was the last time you prayed for something, only to realize that it wasn't what you wanted after all? I'm reminded of the old adage that says, be careful what you pray for because you just might get it. Several years ago, I made the mistake of praying for wisdom. Now, I only kind of call it a mistake tongue-in-cheek because I'm glad I gained the wisdom that I was praying for, but the cost of gaining that wisdom wasn't what I was expecting. After praying fervently for wisdom, in the course of the following weeks and months, I unintentionally but undeniably hurt and alienated several friends, especially someone I considered one of my best friends from that time in my life. Now, thankfully, those wounds healed, but even more importantly, during that time of pain and healing, I learned some valuable lessons about how I respond to difficult situations and how I treat others when I'm in the midst of difficult situations. I learned to pay much closer attention to what I was thinking and feeling, not in a selfish way, but so I could be on guard and not hurt those who were closest to me. I also experienced firsthand the life-changing effect of lovingly helping someone acknowledge their self-destructive tendencies. Now, for me, it was a spiral of anger and cynicism, but for others, it could just as easily be issues with substance abuse or the mind-numbing and soul-crushing effects of hedonism. In addition to praying for wisdom, which is always good, but also always difficult to achieve, another spiritual exercise I've done for the last several years is to take sort of a spiritual growth survey. I'll think back to a certain time in my life or major markers like graduating from school or starting a new job or the birth of my kids, and I'll use those milestones to gauge how far I've grown in certain areas, in certain ways. I like to ask myself these kinds of things. Do I still deal with the same sins that I struggled with 1 year ago, 5 years ago, or 10 years ago? Years later, am I still angry with that one person, whoever it may be, for when they insulted me way back when? Do the same temptation triggers still get me? How do I respond now to people who annoy me compared to how I used to respond? The point of this exercise is not to compare me with who someone else is today, but to compare myself with who I was yesterday, and hopefully to allow me to see how God is shaping me for tomorrow. As difficult as it is to hear, then, this is wisdom, to let God do His work in you and in me, no matter the cost.